Matt Bernier, Dan Illman taking a look back at the featured event Sunday from Belmont Park. It was the Gallant Bloom for fillies and mares going 6.5 furlongs on the main track. There was a talk about, boy, we saw the ballerina up at Saratoga and the complete lack of pace. The problem was it looked like there may be a carbon copy of that here in this race as they break from the gate. We knew one horse that was going to be forwardly placed. That was going to be Lucy and Ethel, now for Todd Pletcher. But we hadn't seen her in a very, very long time. She showed the pace, but she flattened out badly.
Hadn't seen this horse in 11 months. This horse was bet hard down to 3-1, probably because most folks figured she'd be where she is right now, on the lead. But that 11-month layoff against some really good horses, that worked against her.
Now, meanwhile, just inside, you've got K-Zone just off the pace a little bit. On the outside now, you're going to see a couple of horses start running along, including Karina Mia, who was much more forwardly placed in this race than she was in the ballerina. Do you think it was a matter of it taking her out of her game, but also Javier saying, I can't have the same thing happen again?
I think that probably has a lot to do with it. I think Javier's like, I don't want to be the victim of the pace. And the way Karina Mia is moving right now, Javier's going to take a peek under his right shoulder and then a peek under his left. And he's going to look very, very confident. You think that Karina Mia is on her way to winning. It's somewhat of a disappointment. But you know something? At Highway Star, she just tries hard every time.
And coming just behind Karina Mia in those green silks is Highway Star. She's going to just bump her way out of there. She's following. At this point, Karina Mia, if you backed her, she's still in full flight. But Highway Star, she wants to beat you.
She really wants to beat you. And going into the backstretch, she was shuffled back a little bit in some very tight quarters. She then followed Karina Mia. She came out. She gave ground to Karina Mia turning into the stretch. She just wants to beat you. I mean, listen, this is the kind of filly that might show up in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. And they're going to say, well, these connections, trainer Rodrigo Bilo's a very good trainer, but not of the stature of a Bob Baffert, of course, or a Chad Brown. She's by Girolamo. She's a New York bred. This horse, all she does is run hard.
All she does is run hard. She gets another victory, another graded stakes victory to her name, pays $6.20 on the win end. Karina Mia runs second, $2.60 to place. K-Zone runs third, $2.80 to show. Your $2 exact, it comes back $10. 50-cent try comes back $5.40. Highway Star earns a 93 Beyer speed figure in winning the Gallant Bloom, 115 time form U.S. rating. Karina Mia, 92 Beyer, 115 time form U.S. rating. The question I have for you, none of these sprinters in this division, the filly and mares, none of them seem overly fast. Is that a concern to you, or is it a matter of saying, just pick the fastest of the group that's not that fast?
Well, I think we have to see what's going to happen with Unique Bella when she comes back. It appears that Jerry Hollendorfer is tentatively planning eventually running her in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, and we know she can run fast races. I think in this situation, Highway Star, you know, a 93 Beyer speed figure, maybe a 95 or a 96 is her limit. You have to ask yourself, what is it going to take to win the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint? I think this division, as you mentioned, is wide open. It might come down to trip. At the end of the day, Highway Star is tactical enough.
Do you look at Karina Mia at this point and say, you know what, this race, I don't want to hold it against her because she needed to be much more forward than she probably wants to be, considering she's done her best making that sort of mid to rear pack move? Or do you look at it and say, you're still supposed to get this one done?
Boy, I'm confused. I watched this race and I thought she's supposed to win turning into the stretch. The way she's moving, she got the jump on Highway Star turning into the stretch, and she just wasn't able to seal the deal. The other part of it is she reminds me a little bit of Wayville Avenue for Chad Brown, where she peaked at just the right time in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. Karina Mia has now had a few races back this year for Chad, and you're right. Maybe she just needs to come from out of it and save that last run for the very, very end. I'm not sure how we feel about any of these Filly and Mare sprinters right now. No one has really taken the division and run away with it.
Lucy and Ethel was the horse that set the fractions, paid the price going down the lane. Do you look at her and say, you know what, she needed one and it was the first time out for Todd? Maybe you just got to figure it out a little bit and think that wherever she shows up next, you're going to have a chance?
I think she has a chance, but I think you also have to say, where was she for 11 months? There must have been some sort of serious physical issue. She really didn't do much running when she was confronted at the top of the stretch by Karina Mia. And you have to ask yourself, where is she right now? Do you really want to bet her next time out in a similar spot with one race in 11 months, and that race being this one? Not me.
Highway Star, she is a cool New York bred. She goes out there, and you know what? We talk about the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint division. They may not be the fastest, but you know what? This one wants to beat you. You could go a lot worse places as far as selections are concerned than a horse like Highway Star. She earns a 93 Beyer winning the Gallant Bloom.